If you want to make more money than you ever have before in 2025, I think there are two key areas that you can focus on leveraging. That is lead generation and delivery. What I'm going to do is break them down into two sub areas so you've got something you can focus on each quarter to ensure that 2025 is your best year ever financially. And I'm also going to reveal the one key metric that you should be tracking in each of these areas. Let's jump into the first ones in the lead section. And it's deciding on where you're going to generate your leads from and focusing on that. There's various different methods that you could do to generate lead traffic. We've got things like paid ads, content, warm outreach, cold outreach, organic search, or even in-person marketing. But try and pick one of those key areas. Maybe you decide content is what your focus is going to be on and make this the quarter one focus. From January to March, you are going to focus on producing more content than you ever have before. You're going to dedicate a couple hours a day. If you could spend 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, that's 10 hours that you could dedicate towards content generation. From there, I'd suggest you pick one platform and really make that the focus. Whether it's YouTube, whether it's TikTok, whether it's Instagram, go onto that platform and make the content that suits the audience that's there. Ideally, you want this content to be related to what your business does, but not directly sales pitches. You want to talk about the topics that people want to know. You're building up that trust factor so that you're giving away this content for free, but they're going to ask themselves a question, well, what would I get if I pay? How much more knowledge does this person have to give? Don't be scared of giving that content away for free. And within this, you want to start tracking your leads by source. So start up some kind of spreadsheet, whether it's on Google Sheets or Excel, and start tracking every lead that comes into your business and where do they come from. And in particular, you obviously want to be highlighting, if you're focusing on YouTube content, for instance, how many leads is this content actually bringing in? Because this will start to give you an idea of should you double down on this again in the next quarter. And when we do move on to the next quarter, we move on to the next part of leads, and that's the cost. So now that you've spent 3 months of dedicating a lot of time to this, you now want to look at what are the costs and how does that relate to what leads are coming through. So the key metric I'm going to get straight into is measuring your cost per lead and your cost per lead won. So to measure this, you're going to need to obviously measure those leads, measure what costs are going into your marketing activities, which we'll get to in a second, and also the amount of leads that you're actually winning. So you want to start measuring those costs. So how much time are you spending and what's your hourly rate? How much time are other people on your team spending and how much do you pay them? And then what physical costs have you got? Is it software subscriptions or is it a new camera or lighting? You want to measure all these things so you can work out how much are we putting into our marketing activities. And ideally, you'd want to break that down by the type. But obviously at this stage, we've just focused on one delivery method. So if we come back to that content on YouTube, how much money are we spending on this? And then how many leads are we generating from this? If we've gone out and we've spent $1,000 and we've generated 5 leads, we're going to say it's a cost of $200 to get each of those leads. And then we want to go further into that and go, well, how many leads did we actually win? If we only won 2 leads from that, then we know it's costing us $500 to get a customer. Obviously within this, once you're looking at these costs over this quarter, you want to start to create the efficiencies in that, work out what's working, what's not working, and make sure that you've got an efficient process that allows you to collect leads on an abundant manner, but at a cost that makes sense based on all of the other underlying factors that go into your business. Now, I do talk about this stuff all the time on YouTube, but another place where I do talk about business-related stuff is on my free weekly newsletter. I send out a newsletter every single week talking about business tips, tax tips, and other things that will help you better yourself financially. I'd love for you to join. The link is in the description of this video. So we're now halfway through the year. We've ticked off, we've got lots of leads coming in. We know they're coming in at a right cost. Now we want to move into the delivery section, and in particular, the efficiency of your delivery. We want to look at how you're delivering the service or the product that you've got those leads for. So what you're wanting to start looking in this area in particular is how long does it take you to do things? So we're going to be either looking, maybe it's per client for a particular period, or maybe per job, or if you're doing something where it's more process-based, how long does each process take? And I know a lot of people don't like timesheets and don't like time tracking, but by knowing how long it takes you to do things, you can start to work out things such as your hourly rate, or which things are actually the most profitable. And then we can dive deeper into the efficiencies of these things. So we're going to be looking at, if you're in a service-based business, how long does it take us to do every single part of this activity, and which parts could be optimized? Have we got certain clients that are taking way longer than others, but still bringing in the same revenue? Therefore, how can we solve that? We want to start to see, are there patterns that are in place that we could improve upon. The great thing about doing this once you've got lots of lead flow coming in is it puts your business under stress. And when a business is under stress, you see what breaks. And the areas that are breaking are the areas that you need to focus on first. You want to look at what is the next constraint on my business? What is causing the most issues? How do I fix that first? If there is a task you are doing daily and it takes half an hour a day, if you could optimize that and bring that down to 25 minutes, you're going to be saving 5 minutes a day. And that's the task you want to focus on versus maybe something that takes you 3 hours, but you only do it once a year. You're not going to see the same efficiencies as saving that 5 minutes every single day. You want to be leveraging your people in a way that's allowing them to get more out of their time. You want their 1 hour to be as valuable as possible, and therefore they should be working on their highest paid task. You don't want your highly skilled people doing a basic administration task that maybe they're not even as efficient as the administration staff you've got. You want to make sure you've got the right people in the right places doing the right tasks. When you're reviewing your processes, you really want to look at every single step. And the first question you want to ask yourself is, do we still need to do this step? Is this vital to delivering this product or service? And then the second thing you want to ask is, can it be done more efficiently? If it's got to be done, how do we do it quicker? Then in the last quarter, we're going to take all of these things that we've got. We've got the leads coming in. We've got them at a good cost. We're doing it as efficient as possible. But are people actually staying with us? There's no point doing a task in 1 hour that used to take you 5, but you've done it so terribly that the client leaves. So you want to start looking at your churn rates. What percentage of people are leaving during a certain period of time? Are you losing 20% of your client base every single year? Well, if that's happening, why is that happening? We want to keep customers or clients buying as long as possible or as many times as possible because it's going to increase their lifetime value to you. As we know in that first step, when we're generating leads, they come with a cost. Therefore, our existing clients don't have that cost. So we want to make sure we're optimizing them. We want to make sure we're delivering as higher quality service as possible so that they don't leave. So you want to have a baseline churn rate. Maybe you can go back historically and work out what has that been each year. Maybe it's 15% and you're keeping that consistent year to year, then you know it's great. If suddenly churn increases, it goes from 15% up to 20%, you want to ask yourself, why is this happening? Conduct exit surveys with clients that are leaving. Ask them why you're leaving. What could have we done to retain you? You might start to see, oh, the quality of work has dropped off. Our pricing is increased, but there hasn't been an increase in quality. Or you brought on a new team member and maybe they are not gelling with clients. You want to look at what is happening there and why are people leaving more often. You want to look at that satisfaction measures. Go, how are we delivering our service and is it exceeding the expectations that we outlined when we first signed up a client? You really want to focus on that and over-delivering on what you promised. I truly believe if you can nail those things, nail the lead sources, nail the cost of them, nail the delivery efficiencies while keeping satisfaction high, you will make 2025 your best year ever financially. But if you don't have a business yet, but you would love to start one, in this upcoming video, I talk all about how you could turn a side hustle into a fully fledged business in a way that allows you to get the most out of it financially. I hope to see you over there, and I appreciate you watching this one.